and welcome, folks.
News,
Folks.
news.
Today we are here with the delegate Teresa of the UNHRC and the human rights checker Pedro Jaramillo. Hi, how are you?
Hello everyone, I'm very happy to be here.
Hello, and thank you for inviting us.
Thank you for being here in a virtual way. Well, what is your perspective about the human rights, Pedro Jaramillo?
Pero Jaramillo thinks that the human rights will need to be respected all the time. It doesn't matter if a person does something wrong, that person has the human rights and need to be respected.
Very good, Pedro Jaramillo. Now, Urisa, I see you change your spot. Very nice, Urisa. Now, tell us what's your perspective about the human rights.
My perspective of human rights is that everyone needs to be respected because we are all humans. It doesn't matter if we made something bad, every person makes mistakes and needs to be forgiven.
Thank you, Risa. My perspective about the human rights is that all people should be in a very respectful way treated because all the people are persons, no matter if they are bad or good people. They have always human rights because we aren't different, nor of the race, nor of the country. We are all the same just because we are persons. Okay, now that we have made clear our things about the human rights, now we have a question. What responsibility do we have to take care of the human rights, and why do we have that responsibility? Could you please answer me that question, human rights checker Pedro Jaramillo?
Yes, thank you for asking. We need to protect the human rights because if we don't have the human rights, it will maybe be a world with war and many innocent people will die only because of their color or of their ideals.
Can I ask you a question about that?
Yes, of course.
Look, there are many people getting killed not only because of their perception about the world, but of their human race, about their difference and similarities. There are people getting killed about everything, no matter what they are, what status they are. What do you think about that? Because you say if the human rights were not would not exist, the people would get killed. But they are already getting killed. So what would be the difference between that? I understand that that will get more kills, but there is really such a big difference.
There is a difference, not that big, because as you said, they are also getting many people killed about having also the human rights, but that's a problem that we are solving, and we will make that the human rights are more respected in all the countries, and also we will create laws that if they don't follow human rights, they will be very hard punished.
Thank you very much. Now, Risa, could you please tell me what the ONU has discussed about this topic that has all the people in the Black Lives Matter protest and such more, many protests have discussed about the human rights that they are not being protected. So, what has the ONU declared about this?
The ONU has declared that we need to protect them and respect them because, as Pedro said, a world without human rights will be a disaster. There can't be a world without human rights, with people hitting each other just because. It can be that we need to protect them.
Thank you very much. I think that was a very good answer. My perception about the human rights are they are not perfect, obviously, because there are many protests. There are people getting killed just because the race, color, etc. But that is a topic of another discussion. Well, the human rights aren't being protected as well as they do, but if they didn't existed, the world would be much, much, much worse because the that rule the human rights didn't existed until the end of the World War II. And any war has happened since then, so you can see that there are some benefits about the human rights. Now, what strategies can we use to defend the human rights, and what responsibilities do we have, but in specific examples?
Yes, a strategy that we can do in a case of what you were saying, the protest of Black Lives Matter. We like that protest is to also protect human rights because they are saying that also of the skin, it doesn't matter, you are a person. And so to protect more, like as they're saying, the black people, uh, as I already told you, we can make the laws of that if they don't follow human rights, they can be very hard punished, and so they know that the human rights are really a thing, and they really need to be respected.
Thank you very much. Now, Risa, it's your turn.
Could you please tell me what the question is?
Yeah, sure. What responsibilities do we have to take care of the human rights in examples? And what can we do to stop the protest and care more about the human rights?
We we can we can the responsibility is what that we have for protecting human rights are huge because if we don't implement those responsibilities, the world will end without human rights. And as I already said, a world without human rights will be a disaster. So we need to avoid that. We can also like fire all the police that is corrupt, so they the new police follow the human rights, such as the police that is racist, so they have the same the same characteristics with all.
Thank you very much. That was all for today. Good night, North America.